What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we've got for you 7 strength exercises to improve your speed. So in order to improve your speed, one of the best things you can do is to improve your strength, right? At the end of the day, sprinting is an expression of force happening at really high speeds. So in order to improve our force expression, right, we need 2 things. We need to be sprinting to train the movement pattern, to train that specificity, the high velocity, and we need to increase our ability to produce force. Best way to do that, get in the weight room. So we got 7 exercises we like to use that we're gonna give to you today. Hopefully you enjoy this. If you do, please give a thumbs up, please subscribe. And yeah, hope you enjoy. All right, exercise number 1 is going to be a traditional back squat. Yes, I know it's not the fanciest exercise, but it is undoubtedly one of the best exercises to build lower body strength, right? Your typical barbell movement, compound movement, it works everything lower body. It's great for the core. It's great for the trunk, the spine. Don't forget how important all of that is in sprinting, right? We need a strong core. That includes our spine. We have to be able to withstand high amounts of loads at really high speeds. One of the most pivotal things I've read when it comes to sports performance training or strength conditioning training is it's difficult to program something simply, right? We're all looking for what is the next greatest exercise that's going to transform the world or going to blow up our social media. But at the end of the day, you want to do what works. And a traditional back squat has hands down been shown over and over and over to correlate the best to improve jumping, to improve sprinting. It's so fantastic. So if we're trying to improve our strength, our ability to express force, then we're gonna wanna load up that bar and we're gonna wanna build the ability to hit a really good back squat. So exercise number 1, get the back squat going. Number 2, very similar idea to the back squat. We are going a rear foot elevated split squat. So we're now working unilateral. This is important because obviously unilateral training is great for muscular imbalances, right? But more specifically, and honestly more importantly, it's great for just building up equal amount of strength. Sprinting is a unilateral exercise, right? It's one leg at a time. We need the ability to produce the same amount of force. So if I'm working bilaterally, right, then one leg could be working more than the other, especially if you're not aware, if you're a little bit newer, if you're compensating. And when we switch to single leg, we're training the ability to produce more force with each leg independently, right? It's the bilateral deficit. When we are going 2 legs, each leg is producing less force than if I'm doing 1 leg. So it really builds that ability. Also too, I specifically love the rear foot elevated because you can alter it a little bit so you can really isolate the glutes and the posterior chain when you're going, or I shouldn't say isolate, but really try to enhance the glutes and posterior chain. And as we know, glutes are so important for sprinting and for speed. So I love this exercise. Once again, load this thing up. If we want to get stronger, you gotta put in that work. You can't be hitting some light stuff just for thousands of reps, right? Get the correct rep range, get the correct intensity, the correct load, and actually do what you need to do to build your strength. Exercise number 3, we are going a long lever hip bridge, or you could do a hip thrust. So bridge is when we're on the ground, thrust is when we kind of have our back elevated a little bit. I love this long lever variation because it trains posterior chain strength in a very specific position. So when we're sprinting, almost lost my pen. When we're sprinting, especially if we're going top speed, right? We got top speed, we got acceleration, but when we're top speed, we're pretty much upright, right? That's a big thing. We want control. We're hitting the ground kind of right here, okay? So a slight bend as we strike ball of the foot. We need to be training posterior chain strength in these positions, which you'll see with some exercises later on. One of those things that's so important is the hamstring, right? Especially as we're coming down here, as we strike with our foot under our hip, we have to be strong for this ground contact because we're coming in at rapid speeds, striking the ground. So we have to be training that. So I like this variation because it trains the hamstring when it's at that lengthened position, which it's going to see when you're sprinting. Exercise number 4, we are going a spring ankle. So this is, if you follow Cal Dietz, his exercise, and this is one of the best ways to improve the lower limb. Its ability to tolerate force, withstand force, right? Continue accepting force through it, right? Every time we're striking the ground when we're sprinting, we are putting force into the ground and the ground's pushing that force back into us. So if we're not strong through our foot, through our ankle, our lower limb, a lot of that force is going to dissipate and it's not going to help us be efficient sprinters or be fast, right? Regardless of if you're in acceleration or top speed, it is about being strong through the lower limb, being able to express that force. So this exercise right here, right, we're gonna get up, push up, drive that knee forward just a little bit. I like to cue my athletes to drive the ball of your foot in while trying to maximize the distance between your heel and the floor. So a big thing is you can see my knee is slightly bent, right? I'm trying to mimic that angle of when I'm sprinting. I'm not here, right? I'm not pushing that far forward. I'm here and I have a tall torso, right? I'm not dipping down here because once again, it's like when you're running, you need to be strong. We're training the lower limb to be able to handle high amounts of forces. And this isometric is really great. Obviously, isometrics are fantastic. You guys hear me talk about them all the time. They're great for building the ability to tolerate force. They're great for motor unit recruitment, getting more motor units, more fibers engaged and activated so we can in turn produce more force. Great for the nervous system. So this is a fantastic exercise. You can start easy, right? If that's hard for you, you don't have to start there. You can honestly just start by doing anything really like floating heel, right? Even if I'm just hitting like a split squat, just start training your lower limb and the ability for that ankle complex to be really strong. Next exercise, we are doing Nordic hamstring curls and different variations of that same exercise. So I'm not gonna spend too much time on this because I feel like I've already talked a lot about the importance of posterior chain. Nordics are great at developing glute strength, hamstring strength, calf strength as well. When you're hitting your Nordic, like at least for me and everybody who trains here, we feel it fire up our calves. It's great for behind the knee, working on all that structural connective tissue in there as well. That's very important. Remember when it comes to, enhancing your athletic abilities and also working to reduce your risk for injury, one of my favorite ways to train or things to say is strength through length, right? You want to be strong in lengthened positions. So as we're sprinting, one of the most common times for that hamstring to pull is here. So as that hamstring's kind of lengthened, right, we got to be really strong. So I like these exercises where you're training your hamstring as it's lengthened. Remember, when we're training our hamstrings, we can work through the hip. We can also work through the knee. So different variations, right? Through the knee would be like a stability ball hamstring curl, for example. That's extremely important to train that because it's this motion. It's also important, with the Nordic in our next couple exercises, get that hip going, that hip type of hamstring stretch, but just work being strong in those lengthened positions. Number 6, we have yet another posterior chain exercise. We are going barbell RDLs. I'm, in my opinion, not a massive fan of conventional deadlifts. Time and a place, right? I love RDLs. I think those are fantastic to work building up your ability to express force. So nothing too fancy here, right? We're just typical RDL. You can go barbell, load that sucker up. You can go single leg. I like that a lot. Landmine, whatever you want to do. RDLs are a fantastic exercise. Just make sure you're doing them correctly, right? I tell my athletes, I don't care how far down you reach. That's not the point of the exercise. The point is how far can you push your hips back, right? Push your hips back. Even if the dumbbell only goes right below your knee, I feel that tremendously. So if I feel that and my hips are all the way back, right, at that point I reverse it. I don't care if you're getting that extra little drop at the bottom, because chances are, especially if you watch these athletes perform it, they're here, and then to get a little bit more, they start stretching. I don't need that, right? It's all about getting your hips back. So hit your RDLs, just do them correctly. Last exercise, I am a big fan of Olympic lifting. If you don't like Olympic lifting, if for whatever reason, so many variations that you can do, but I love cleans. I don't do snatches all too often. I like doing jerks, especially like a landmine split jerk. But I think my favorite is going to be a hang clean. I think it is an absolute great way to build up strength as you're expressing that force quickly, right? So like I said at the start, you want to build up your strength and you want to keep sprinting, because sprinting is going to be the velocity aspect, but hitting, that strength building, that's what's going to help increase your force output. But I do like the Olympic lifting variations because you have to perform them at a, rapid speed. So you're training the ability to produce high amounts of forces faster with that external load. So I'm a big fan of Olympic lifting. Any way you want to do it. If you don't even like a clean and you just want to do a pull, totally fine. Work on that loaded rapid hip extension, and I think that's really going to help you out. I like to start off, especially with our youth athletes, something super safe, easy to learn, landmine split jerk, great exercise to do. So hopefully you guys enjoy these. Remember, to get faster, one of the best ways we can do that is to get stronger, to improve our expression of force. Not always, with certain strength exercises, there's lots of ways we can do it, but this is one box that has to be checked in order to get faster. So hopefully you enjoy this. If you do, please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe. We post videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays, so make sure you subscribe to catch all of them. We'll catch you in the next one.